And welcome to the Pick Six. Oh, wait a minute. Let me start over again.
That's fine. You can just do it.
Ready?
Yep.
Hello, and welcome to this week's Attractions Group podcast, Pick Six, where we bring you the top stories from the attractions industry.
Before we delve into this week's Pick Six, sponsorship packages of the Pick Six are available. The Pick Six is a great spot to advertise your small business. Get thousands of eyeballs from YouTube and ears from listeners of the Attractions Group podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more each month. Direct message us on X at attractions_GRP or hit Don up with an email at dhelbig@cincy.rr.com for more information. Don, what's our first story in the Pick Six?
The first story is Kennywood, set to expand its Hallmark holiday event this season. Officials announced that this will be the largest holiday lights expansion ever, featuring a new immersive experience where guests can meet several iconic characters from the classic TV special Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now, this includes Rudolph, Bumble, Clarice, and Sam the Snowman. The annual event, which transforms the park into a winter wonderland, it begins on November 15th, and I am certainly going to make it out to Kennywood to experience their winter event, Holiday Lights.
Yeah, they do a really good job with it. It's cool that they got the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer characters. That's kind of an interesting take. Apparently, they
It
found
is.
the puppets that they used for that TV special, and I think they're on display in like Rochester, New York, or something. But very cool. All right, moving right along. Next place we're going to go. So, August usually signals the end of summer fun at most theme parks, but not at Universal. This year, Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal Orlando are celebrating back to school season with special events themed around Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. As August is when the students in Harry Potter series prepare for their school year. Universal is staying on theme by offering back to Hogwarts themed merchandise bundles, including robes, backpacks, and writing journals for each Hogwarts house. Fans can also purchase wands and plush owls to complete their setup. In addition, Universal will introduce special bakery treats such as ice biscuits available at Honeyduke's Sweet Spot. This event gives fans of all ages an excuse to cosplay as Hogwarts students or alumni and take photos throughout the wizarding world of Harry Potter. And I will be visiting that wizarding world here in a couple weeks, so I'm really looking forward to that.
I like this promotion. I think it's a really good way to kind of tap into this part of the year where everyone is going back to school, and you've got all those Harry Potter fans out there. So I think this is a brilliant marketing idea.
I think so too. Next.
Well, don't miss out on an exciting opportunity for night rides at Holiday World. The park's new event, Friday Night Live, it features live music, drink specials, and night rides on August 16th, 23rd, and 30th. On National Roller Coaster Day, August 16th, The Voyage will be running trimless from 8 to 10 p.m. You think you love The Voyage now? Wait until you experience it trimless. Roller coaster fans, this is an opportunity that you don't want to miss.
Yeah, you can experience the park in a whole new way. Friday Night Lights, I like Friday Night Live. I want to say lights, but yeah, that's really cool. And plus, the trimless voyage. Take my money, please. Is it
Yeah,
specially
and
ticketed?
it's a rare opportunity to get night rides at Holiday World on their coasters because they normally close at 8 o'clock. It's starting to get a little bit dark, in that part of Indiana that time of the year, but it's not that normal nighttime experience that you get at some other parks. So it's that rare opportunity to get night rides on the Voyage, the Legend, the Raven, Thunderbird, but then on the 16th from 8 to 10, those trimless rides on the Voyage on National Roller Coaster Day. So love what they're doing there. While other parks are, reducing their operating calendars, you got Holiday World here adding more hours.
I wonder what they're doing wrong. Yeah, so this is just included with park admission, I assume?
Yep, with park admission. Now the park will open on those Friday nights at 5 o'clock, so it's 5 to 10 on those nights.
Okay, very cool. Next up. All right, attendees are eagerly anticipating a first look at upcoming projects for Disneyland Resort in Anaheim, California, as well as Disney parks worldwide at this year's D23 event scheduled for Friday through Sunday. Disney fans are particularly excited about a potential announcements on the proposed expansion of the theme park, the opening date for Tiana's Bio Adventure attraction, updates to the Tomorrowland area, and the addition of Avatar-themed land, among other improvements. Disneyland has not yet announced an opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure after more than a year of construction. Previously, the park announced that it would be opening sometime this year. Yeah, so D23 is a very stressful time for me because I'm always waiting for that day when they say we're going to replace Tower of Terror or we're going to replace Journey into Imagination. So I have to quit, intently follow it on Twitter, and then when it's over, I feel better. And then it's hard to get excited about this stuff though because they blue sky a lot of things where they talk about this is what we might do, and then they don't do it. Yeah.
Ryan, you're right. The stress is real. I worry about that too every year. That this is where I'm going to hear it's the end of Tower of Terror.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, they won't get the Guardians of the Galaxy conversion because they've done it already. But I mean, a different Guardians of the Galaxy ride, but I don't see them doing that twice. But I think that the backlash would be so severe that if they would have done it, they would have done it by now.
All right, moving on. So get ready to go over the falls one last time. So after 31 years of soaking riders and delighting onlookers from its splashy bridge, it's time to wave goodbye to the Snake River Falls boat ride at Cedar Point. It opened in 1993. Snake River Falls debuted as the tallest, steepest, and fastest water flume in the world. It stands 82 feet above Frontier Town. It was a groundbreaking attraction when it opened. I remember it well. And one of the ride's unique features has always been the exit bridge that crosses over the flume. Over the years, it's provided endless entertainment as guests on the bridge time their crossings to either avoid or get drenched by the next boat's 1,920 square foot tidal wave. A second way to enjoy the ride, if you will. Now's your last chance to experience this classic attraction. So make plans to visit Cedar Point before Labor Day, September 2nd, as Cedar Point makes way for future expansion. What's that expansion? Well, they can't tell you that just yet.
They've removed a lot of water stuff over the years, haven't they? Between this and the Frontier Trail thing, that was in a like on an island kind of thing, and then the was it the Snake River Expedition? Is that
Snake
what that
River
is?
Expedition, yes. And then you had Shoot the Rapids, which had a short life.
Yeah, that and Pilgrim's Plunge. They're both the intimate things, but um, so I saw a news article that said that due to maintenance, they're taking it out. I don't think that's true. I think that they have plans for this plot of land. Now, I'm just speculating here, but
Well, that's the unfortunate thing of where Cedar Point is located. They're in that peninsula. They're kind of landlocked. So a lot of
mhm.
times it is addition by subtraction, and you have to say goodbye to some longtime favorites. Like they're going to be doing here with Snake River Falls. But it is what it is when you're kind of landlocked like that. You don't have room to expand, and if you're going to add something major, you got to find a way to make room for it. And unfortunately, you have to make those hard decisions.
So true, absolutely. This was definitely one of those rides, at least from my experience, where you could kind of hop on it without a wait on the busiest days. So I could see where they have to make that sacrifice, but it's a reasonable plot of land. They could do a lot of fun things with it. So obviously the future is going to be bright for Cedar Point with this. But
Yeah,
speaking of new things, final story. Carowinds' beloved Camp Snoopy is set to introduce two new family friendly attractions in 2025, marking the largest investment in family attractions in the park's history. These additions, a family launch roller coaster and an interactive raft ride, aim to provide endless fun and excitement for guests of all ages, making Camp Snoopy a premier destination for family entertainment. The centerpiece of this new attraction is Snoopy's Racing Railway. In this thrilling family friendly steel launch coaster, guests join Snoopy on a mission to deliver root beer and pizza to Camp Snoopy's mess hall. Wow, those are high stakes. The coaster accelerates from 0 to 31 miles per hour in seconds, offering an elaborate adventure complete with exciting dips and wild turns. Riders will experience the thrill ride twice as they race through the course twice, ensuring that Snoopy's delivery arrives safely and on time. Now, if he's delivering pizza and root beer, why would he do the route twice? Do you think he's got to pick up more pizza and root beer when he hits the station again? I'm just speculating. Uh,
no, I love this. What else do we got going on there?
yeah, they also have Charlie's River Raft Blast, and it promises a splashing good time for families. The interactive raft ride invites guests to board eight-seater boats at Snoopy's swimming hole and engage in friendly water skirmishes. Equipped with water cannons both on board and on shore, riders can spray each other while navigating the river canal. Along the way, they will encounter beloved Peanuts characters swimming, floating, and splashing, all eager to drench riders in fun. Um, in addition to these major attractions, Camp Snoopy will feature several enhancements designed to provide a well rounded experience for families. New splash play zones will help guests beat the heat, featuring enhanced shade and refreshing water features to ensure everyone stays cool and has fun. These areas offer the perfect spot to relax and recharge on a hot Carolina summer day. It reminds me, remember the Super Soaker thing that they had, like the roller coaster where
Oh
the
yeah,
people could spray you and you could spray them. This kind of reminds me of that.
it does. Ryan, I think with these new additions that Carowinds doing to Camp Snoopy, I think next year they become a bona fide contender for the Golden Ticket Award for Best Kids Area.
Yeah, I mean, if they honestly add shade and stuff, if the toy looks like the picture on the box, as I often say, I would say that that's a good candidacy for it. Additionally, I've had people that have visited, especially with like little kids that have visited both Carowinds and Kings Island, for example, with the Camp Snoopy with the Beagle Scout Acres, and they were like, the one at Carowinds is just so much bigger and more elaborate and better. I mean, if they've got that leg up, I mean, it's gonna be hard for Dollywood to contend with that. They've got that
Yeah, like
indoor
I
play
said,
area
bona fide
still.
contender here with what they're adding, and like I said, it's already really nice, and now you're just making it even that much better.
Yeah. So good luck to Carowinds with this. Looks like a exciting announcement for them. All right, let's move on to the listener questions. First listener question, Larry D from Saginaw, Michigan. Don, I follow you on X and I saw that you recently visited Coney Island in New York and rode the legendary Cyclone. I've never ridden it, but would love to. However, I've heard it can be rough. Before I make my trip to New York, I need an honest opinion from somebody I trust. Was it rough? Is it worth my time? Don, you're somebody he trusts.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed my ride on it. I thought, it was pretty smooth. I mean, it is old, it is a little rickety, but I felt that the ride experience it delivered. It was fun, thrilling. It was smooth. If it wasn't $10, I would have kept riding it. Every time you wanted to ride, it was $10. But I certainly would put it in my list of the top 12 to 15 wooden roller coasters that I've ridden. I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I would highly recommend that you make that trip to Coney Island and in New York and take a ride or two on the Coney Island Cyclone. Like I said, a lot of history there. You feel that history when you're on the boardwalk and you see it, and you're buying your ticket to ride, and you go through the queue to get up there into the station. Um, old school in a lot of ways when you're in that station. Big throwback. But I loved it, and I'm already making plans to go back to New York again next summer to do it again.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely have that on my bucket list. Next listener question, Hank B from Trenton, New Jersey. I love this podcast. It's my favorite in the industry. Great guests and good banter between you guys. Thanks, Hank. My question is, do you think the 400-foot tall lawn ornament in Sandusky, Ohio is going to reopen this year? Sir, that is a 420-foot tall lawn ornament in Sandusky, Ohio. Don, what's your prediction? Do you think Top Thrill 2 is going to open this year?
I don't know. I think we're running out of time for it to be open again before summer ends. Um, there always seems to be new things out there that you see on the different the coaster channels. Where people are speculating different things. It starts with the wheels and then other parts of the train to now there's track issues. Nobody really knows. The only people that know are a select number of people at Cedar Point and Zamperla. They're the only ones that really know what's going on there. I think they're going to make every effort to try to get it open again this year. They'd love nothing more than to have it open again this year. But you're going to get to that point to where you just hold off until next year, because if you're down to the final 2 weekends, 3 weekends of the year at that point, what's the point, right? So I think the clock's ticking. Love to see it open. Love to ride it. Um, but every with each passing day, there just seems to be a little bit more doubt about that.
So it opened in May. As of this recording, it is August 7th. I just want to point that out. That's it sounded like it was gonna be a few week thing. I remember when there was hope for Coaster Mania for it opening then, and I got I no one said this, but I got the vibe from the park that they thought it would be ready for Coaster Mania, and my only evidence is that a few days before Coaster Mania, they came out with this thing saying, "Yeah, we're still working on it." So I think that that was when they planned on saying, "It'll be open this weekend,"
Yeah, it
but
just seems like every time they run some of those test cycles at like 3 in the morning, that something else gets discovered.
once they get it going, and they get it. I hope for Cedar Point and Zamperla's sake that they get it reliable, because that's a heck of a ride from what I understand.
The
And
one
that
thing that cannot happen, Ryan, is they cannot reopen the ride and then, 7 to 10 days later, it's down again for an extended period. That cannot happen. They have to be absolutely sure that they've got to solve, and outside of maybe some minor issue or something that happens, like, it does on all rides, it's good to go. You cannot have it again, stop and start.
I completely agree. Yeah, the worst thing. I mean, nowadays it's kind of like if it goes down again, it's going to be the season for it. But um, if it reopened in July and then closed for another couple weeks, that would be really, really bad for it. But right. Next listener question, Troy L from Medina, Ohio. He is, I believe in karma and think that what happened at Cedar Point with Top Thrill 2 is deserved, given that Cedar Point's director of communication, Tony Clark, handled media day in the previous days being exclusive to Cedar Point pass holders. What do you think? Dang. This
Tell us how
reminds
you
me of,
really feel there.
yeah. If you want to learn more about karma, let me recommend the Fox series My Name is Earl. It's all about karma. I really enjoy it. Uh,
What's happened there, it's unfortunate. And, there was a lot of excitement, and rightfully so, when the ride opened. And prototype, that's what this is. It's a prototype ride. The first of its kind, first time Zamperla has gone to those heights, we'll
mhm.
say. So there's a lot of firsts here. And sometimes with first, you're going to have issues. And so, I'm not someone that believes in karma or anything like that. I think it's just, you know, the nature of a prototype ride. Sometimes things like this happen. It's unfortunate it happened, but has nothing at all to do with Tony there. Tony's a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, I get what they were coming from with the whole like Cedar Point gold passes only, but from a guest standpoint, that was like that was really bad. I have to admit. Um, Especially because if I recall, platinum passes got or prefer prestige passes, sorry, got to ride first. That was on a Wednesday, and then gold got like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that. But prestige people, having paid 3 times more than the gold, didn't have the option to go the other days. So, if they couldn't make it on a Wednesday night up to Sandusky, Ohio, they didn't get to go to the preview, even having paid a very premium price for the pass. The smart thing to do would have been have a registration for it. I think they did have a registration. Open it up to prestige pass holders first. The next day, you open it up to the gold pass holders. There you go. That would have been the answer. But
Yeah, definitely
as
could have handled it differently, in terms of how they worked it with the pass holders. Certainly could have, done a little bit differently than what they did with the media who could come, who couldn't come. Uh,
Mhm.
they took a lot of backlash from other media outlets in terms of what they did with the Sandusky Register by not inviting them. Now here's a paper that's covered the park since its birth, and that's what you do. Sure, they wrote some, there's some negative articles and things, but they're just doing their job, too. So
Yeah.
I think you have to look at it that way, as you might not like always, what the media writes or what bloggers say about you, or what influencers, write or say about, their experiences and that. Uh, but it comes with the territory. They're just doing their job, just giving their opinions, and you got to move on. And tomorrow's a new day, right? So you just that's how I would look at it, as in the PR chair, is you know those stories in the past. Today's a new day. Let's invite these people out. That's just me.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Hey, We'll be back next week with some excellent content. Remember to follow us in all your favorite podcast apps: Apple, Google, Spotify. You know the drill. Uh, Hit us on YouTube by searching for the Attractions Group podcast. Hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time, everybody. Good night.